These are trying to wait for someone to join us. Hi there. Hope you stay. Let me know who you are and what would you like to talk about. We're trying to do an awareness video, trying to get it going so that we can really put out there about fibromyalgia because there are so many women and men who suffer from fibromyalgia and other chronic illnesses, but they don't have an outlet. They don't have anywhere um, to go for help, just to let out some steam or to talk to someone who really knows what they're going through. So that's basically what I'm trying to do here. I discovered that I had fibromyalgia maybe 15 years ago. I was diagnosed. Before that, I was having the pain and the problems, but I didn't know what was going on with my body, and my doctor didn't know what was going on. Thankfully, though, I had a doctor who was really very good at figuring things out. And so he and I worked together to determine what my problem was, and he referred me to a rheumatologist, and that was the best thing that happened to me because I got my diagnosis and I got a treatment regimen that somewhat helps a little bit. I also was told that I have fibromyalgia and rheumatoid arthritis. Those two combined cause what the medical profession, those few that are aware of it, call a double whammy. So it's really a lot of problems that you go through. But I really would like for you to join me, come in and stay, um, chat, share, say something. Let me know who you are and if you're suffering from fibromyalgia or another chronic illness, what symptoms that you have, and what is your regimen for trying to deal with it. Have you noticed what causes your flare-ups? And have you found something that actually helps you? I really am interested in your opinion, your take on these things. Last video, we talked about fibro fatigue. What prompted that video at that time was that I was on Twitter and I follow a group of people who suffer from fibromyalgia, ME, uh, numerous other chronic illnesses. And I realized that a lot of them are like me. You have a day where you're feeling fine, and then it seems for no reason, um, you're exhausted. Most nights you go to bed exhausted, and most mornings you wake up, if you've been able to sleep at all, you wake up exhausted. I'm going to put my glasses on so that I can see if someone joins in and if they have something to say. So, okay, back to conversation. So, fibro fatigue is something that, unless you suffer from, what do they call it, the chronic fatigue syndrome, or you have multiple chronic illnesses and you just kind of are tired all the time. It's not like the regular tired, like say you go to work and you have a really busy day at work, and when you finish up, you're like, whew, that was a long day. I'm really tired. It's not like that. If you know what I'm saying, then if you've been there, you understand that it's so totally worse, so much more than that. Fibro fatigue it is almost unexplainable because your body is so tired, your mind is so tired. You can't hardly get out of bed and for moving, and the least little thing causes more tiredness. For instance, the taking a shower. Most people take a shower to get refreshed and to start their day, get going. We take a shower to get clean. We would like to be refreshed so we can have energy and get going. However, we take a shower and you're ready to go back to bed, right? Because it's so exhausting, that energy to get in there. And yeah, it's exhausting. And the thing with fibro fatigue is that it brings on what we're going to talk about today, fibro fog. It's a mental cloud, if you will, that um, blocks or hinders your clear thinking abilities. It's a almost as if there is a fog or blinders, a screen over your brain that you need to function. And give you an example of my worst experience with fibro fog. So I had retired and I had been talking with an insurance agent where I had my life insurance policy. And so what I wanted to do was take my retirement funds and move them over to an account where they were invested for me. I was handling it, doing it, but I got to where couldn't I didn't have the energy, and I definitely didn't have the mental capacity to be able to go in and check and say, okay, let's invest this amount uh, in this account. But yeah, so I was like, I can't do it. So I made an appointment to go and uh, talk with the insurance agent to get my money transferred from the account that it was in, which meant we had to get on the phone with that uh, agent. So I went to his office and I go in there. I had looked up everything before I left so that when I got there, I thought I'll be prepared. I have everything I need. I went in there and he asked me a question that I did not immediately have the answer for. It wasn't something that I had. It wasn't something that I had prepared for. It was kind of something out of the blue. It was easy for me to find it. Let's rephrase that. Let's say it should have been easy for me to find the answer to his question. However, I was nervous about going there and dealing with this. It was the life savings, I guess you could say. It was my retirement fund. It was the money that I was going to have to live off of for the rest of my life, however long. that lasted, and so it was a huge decision, and I had to make sure that the person I was dealing with, one, was reputable, and then that the decisions that he made for me and my money were the best for us because I wanted it invested, not high risk, but middle range, kind of aggressively. And that was a risk that I was taking, especially in the times that we're living in now and what we're dealing with. Anyway, I went into his office and I sat down, and like I said, he asked me a question, and I didn't really know how to answer it. I knew where to find the answer, or so I thought. So I pull up my phone and I look at it and I start pressing buttons and scrolling. And I get really flushed. I get flushed and hot. Whew. And I realized that one, I don't really know what, what I'm doing. Two, wasn't sure why I was so lost. I knew I should have known where to go, but I'm just aimlessly scrolling through my phone, pressing on apps, and B, I got so confused and so frustrated, and I'm trying to keep my calm, and it's not working. It's not happening. It's like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? What am I looking for? A phone number for the agent and where my money currently is so that I can move it from there to here. That's all I was trying to do. I had the information. I just, mm, I'm sorry. I have to get my pillows correct. Okay. I probably should edit this out, but I don't want to. I just want you to see the whole thing as is, right? This is a moment in my life. Okay, back to the story. So I'm going through it, and I, I think he found the phone number. So we got the guy on the phone, and he had to speak with me to confirm my name, my address, to make sure that I was who we said I was, so I could confirm my name. A couple of other things he asked, and then he asked me for my address. I've been living in my home for what, 16, 17 years now? I should know my address, yes. I know it. I do. But at that moment, y'all, I promise you, I could not think of the address. I started saying it and I realized that I didn't know if the part I said was correct and I didn't know what the rest of it was. I stumbled through and I thought, oh, wait, no, that's not it. And I'm saying this out loud with the other agent on the phone and with this guy I'm dealing with sitting right there in front of me. And he's looking at me and there's a guy on speaker. And I'm trying my best, my absolute best to come up with the numbers for my address. And I could not. I could not remember my own address, and nothing I did, nothing I tried to think, nothing I said brought it to mind. So I'm sitting there He's sitting there, the guy's on the phone, and I don't know it. And finally, finally, I never thought of it. I never remembered it. The adjuster sitting in front of me said, I have it here on my paperwork. And so he turned it around and showed me, put his finger right there, and I read it. I read my address. It was the single most embarrassing, humiliating, and debilitating moment that I had experienced since my diagnosis and before, when it came to dealing with the fibromyalgia, dealing with this, not just the pain, because sometimes you can manage the pain. Sometimes you can deal with that. You can take something, you can relax all your muscles and deep breaths. And sometimes you manage the pain and you can do okay with that. But when you are so exhausted and tired that you cannot remember your own address or your own phone number, yeah, that is fibro fog, oftentimes combined with and or brought on by fibro fatigue. So really, we can't discuss one without discussing the other because they're so intertwined, so connected. As a matter of fact, most of our symptoms are the symptoms of chronic illnesses, chronic disease, chronic syndromes, whatever they name they want to give it and call it. It all boils down to the same thing. It hinders you from being your best you. I've had pain, debilitating pain all my life, it seems. Since I was a teenager, before a teenager, preteen, in school, I missed a lot of days because of the pain and just, different things that happen in your life. And later on, sometimes you bring them, like, they come into focus. You bring them together and you realize that this years ago had to have been associated with this right now. Who knew? Okay, so we you realize that you have and you are going through the fibro fatigue, and that is brought on the fibro fog. What do you do next? How do you handle it? How do you cope with it? How do you think straight when you're trying to accomplish something? I don't know about you guys, but when I am in the midst of fibro fog brought on by fibro fatigue, another thing that has happened generally is that I am stressing out like so majorly. Sometimes when I am trying to do my finances, say it's the time for me to pay my bills, my daughter tells me that I should put everything on automatic payment because my money's the same, my bills are the same. Put everything on automatic payment and just don't worry about it. And y'all, I haven't been able to do that. I stress so much about something happening, a payment being late, something, my money being deposited late, and the bills just all bounce all over the place. And how do I manage that? I can't. So I don't. Some of them I do. Uh, maybe because it's cheaper or whatever, but the majority of my bills, I go in each month before it's time, in theory, before they're due when I go in and I pay them. Well, that's not always the case. For instance, like this month, I I missed the payment on my Macy's card. Well, because I hadn't used my Macy's card in almost a year. And so we were going to Arizona and I used it to buy boots, you know, stuff like that. And so now I have a bill on there and I need to pay it, but I forgot the due date. And so I forgot it. And now I need to go in and I need to call them and try to talk them into removing the late charge fee, which generally is not a big deal because I don't do it often. I rarely ever have where I miss a payment. So I got to talk to them about that. So anyway, those are things that come along with the fibro fog, the fibro fatigue, and then that's the general losing it, stressing out, and not the normal stress, the stress that brings on anxiety, it brings on chest pains, stomach pains. It makes me hyperventilate. It makes my my heart beat and flutter, and I'm like this because I'm so nervous. And so that's another thing, the anxiety that comes with it. That's another subject for another video for another day. Well, I really did think that I would get some people joining me in, somebody wanting to talk, but I guess not. Maybe it's a bad time. I know I had just finished up my morning worship. It's Sunday morning, and we have our services virtually via Zoom, and maybe some people are out. I know some people are going back to their churches or what have you now. And some people use the Sunday morning to go out with their family to eat or whatever it is you're doing. Please be safe. I hope that you will check out the video later. And just in case this was a bad time, I'm hoping it's not that just nobody's interested, but I'm gonna go on later on this evening, probably closer to tonight, and I'll try to do another live and maybe we'll get some more people to come in and join and to talk about it, to give your input, what your challenges have been and how you've been handling them. I really would like that to discuss. I talked with a couple of people here and there and would really like to meet more of you. So that's it. So this is me. I hope you, like I said, get a chance to watch the video and I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed doing it. And I hope you'll join me for the next one. And hopefully we can, I know I've said hope, but anyway, maybe we can have a discussion next time with have more people joining us and we can try to get a handle on this thing called fibro. Hope you have a safe day. Hope you keep safe and have a great day. Timmy signing off.